More on these patent wars and what they mean for all of the players in tablets and smartphones. We welcome Gavin Byrne. He's a principal analyst at CCS Insight in London this morning. Gavin, here's my first question for you. Can Google effectively have its cake and eat it too? Can it acquire these patents and defend them aggressively for its own interests at the same time as continuing to provide Android to all of these Samsungs, HTCs, LGs, effectively be a vertically integrated company and provide them with software at the same time?
That's a very good question, Erik. And the challenge really, I mean, as you've highlighted, I suppose, throughout the morning, really, it's a question about patents and it being a kind of a defensive move or a move to defend the Android ecosystem from litigation outside it. Obviously, Samsung and HTC are suffering in that way. The question is really, I suppose, what will Google choose to do with Motorola afterwards? So the choice could be to continue with Motorola as this independent division of Google, operating independently with that, but that obviously raises some issues itself, whether it's conflict of interest perhaps with other Android licensees. It will
well, Gavin, bring us the benefit of your expertise. What do you think is going to happen? Can Google navigate those choppy waters, or at some point in the not-too-distant future, will it be forced to realize you can't have your cake and eat it too and have to get out of that handset and tablet manufacturing business, whether it be a matter of shutting it down or perhaps selling it to private equity or some other tech company?
Well, Google itself is not a hardware company, so it will be not only a cultural shift to become one, but also Motorola itself has not made a profit for a number of years. And it's a question of how long also Google shareholders would wish the company to support perhaps an ailing device business. You could also say if Google really wanted to in fact buy into the hardware business, they should have perhaps bought a company like HTC, which is more profitable and also clearly has a sort of a market trend which is on the up. I think really the reason why Motorola was acquired was really for the patents. And the question is then, will Google stick with it for the long term or perhaps divest itself in sort of a medium term? That really is a question which is open to debate. And I think at the moment we haven't got enough information. But I think it'll be challenging for Google to remain in the hardware business for a long period of time.
Does 2 + 2 = 5 here? We know, as you just pointed out, Motorola Mobility hasn't been a slam dunk success. So can Google, in the short run anyway, make more of that opportunity from a financial standpoint, even if, as you point out, what the company was really after here, what Larry Page wanted more than anything, were these patents?
I think what Google has the opportunity to do here is to really show what can be done on the Android platform. So in the short to medium term, certainly improving the execution speed of Android devices, whether they're smartphones or, in fact, interestingly addressing the tablet market, so perhaps boosting Motorola's success there. And other points that obviously Motorola has in terms of assets, I mean, the connected home business, which also deals with set-top boxes, could allow Google a slightly stronger play into the homes of Americans and people around the world.
Gavin,
however,
Gavin, let me go back to what Dominic Chu was talking about. What happens next? If we're in the middle of a patent war, who's going to go out acquiring ammunition next? Is it going to be Microsoft? Is it going to be, say, Apple? Do you anticipate that this arms race is going to continue?
I think, first of all, I'd add a caveat. Looking at numbers of patents is a useful and comparable, I suppose, metric to a certain extent. But in fact, the patents also need to be looked at for their quality, their essentiality. So within that, a lot of analysis needs to be done to look at the quality, should we say, of the patent portfolio of Motorola and the other companies mentioned, so RIM, for instance, and Nokia InterDigital. I'm sure the lawyers...
Who's got the good stuff? Which of those companies that Dom mentioned, or perhaps some others, have a really desirable patent portfolio that nobody has picked up yet?
Certainly Nokia and InterDigital have strengths in the mobile technology patents, which would be valuable for any company to acquire. I would suggest that Nokia is looking perhaps more of an interesting target than it has in its recent months, just given the increasing interest in patents. InterDigital, obviously, the price, as mentioned, has fallen slightly because of Google now perhaps having less interest in acquiring patents. Who could be next? It is difficult to say. Has Google's appetite for increasing its patent portfolio been satiated? We'll have to wait and see, really, and what may be missing within the patents of the other companies.
Gavin, good to see you this morning. Gavin Byrne, a principal at CCS Insight in London, talking about the patent wars and how maybe Google's appetite isn't quite satisfied yet. Nokia could be a target.